Well, hello everyone. This is Robin the Delta Crafter, and I want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a tutorial on how to make an accordion pop-up frame card. So an accordion pop-up card is a card that is created by making small folds or channels on the front of the card to make the frame of the card, if in this case I created a frame, pop up and stand up off of the card base. So as you can see in the pictures here, I have created a card that has a regular A2 size card base, but on the front of the card, I've created a frame that pops up from the card base and gives a little bit of dimension to the card. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that you're going to need. First, to create a A2 size card, you're going to need a piece of paper that is 5.5 by 5 1/4. The paper that I'm using in this card is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound cardstock. Then the next thing you're going to need is a set of basic dies that will create your window or your frame for your card. I'm using rectangles, but you could use any shape that you choose. For the card I'm making today, I'm using the Tulip Field color layering set from Hero Art. I think this set is beautiful and would make a perfect backdrop for a pop-up frame card. So here I have a piece of paper that I've cut down to 5.5 by 5 1/4. To help me make my score lines, I'm using my Martha Stewart scoring platform that is going to allow me to make consistently evenly spaced scoring lines. So you can see I have the paper in my scoring platform with the 5.5 inch side facing the top of the board. And so I'm going to go in starting with 1/4 inch from the edge of the paper. And then I'm going to make 3 scoring lines, all 1/4 of an inch apart. So I'm going to do that on this side. Then I'm going to flip my paper around and do the same thing on the other side. So this is how we're going to get our accordion channels on our frame. Third score line completes all my scoring. So here's a still shot of the dimensions of the card. You can see that you have a 4-inch center panel or center part of the card, and then you have 3/4 of an inch on each side of the card. And that 3/4 of an inch section is scored and broken down into 1/4 inch sections. Be sure to check out my blog, thedeltacrafter.com, for more details on the dimensions. So here's my scored and ready panel. One thing I found out in this process is that before you fold up your sides, you want to go ahead and run your card through your die cutting machine with whatever shape you're going to use to cut out that center window to make the frame. So here I am using my nesting rectangle dies to figure out which die I want to use. One was too big, one was too small, and then I found the perfect size. So off camera, I have run this through my die cutting machine and have cut out the center panel, which I'm going to keep for scraps. But it has the center of the card, and it has given me the perfect panel, or frame, should I say, to pop up. Now is the time that we want to go ahead and do our accordion folding. So we're going to fold our first line into the center of the card. Then the second score line we're going to fold out towards the edge of the card. And then this last tiny little edge here, we're going to fold back into the frame of the card. So here you can see the accordion pleating that we've created, and this is what's going to give the card the pop-up ability. So we're going to continue by doing that on the other side of the panel, of the frame rather. So off camera, I went ahead and stamped and ink blended the background panel, as well as cut some clouds using the cloudy sky dies from Hero Arts. I also cut some little black birds that you may be able to see right there on the card. Now it's time to assemble the card. So I have cut my clouds down, and I'm going to size them up to see where I want the clouds to actually be attached to the frame so that you can still see my sentiment clearly. By the way, that sentiment also came from the Tulip Fields stamp set. All of the pieces that you see there. So I figured that out where I want the clouds to be. And so now I'm going to add some glue to my frame. That I'm using some liquid glue to attach the clouds. And as you can see, there was a little bit of rough edges because I originally attached the clouds already and it didn't work out for me. So I took it apart and started over. The attached clouds were sticking up a little bit over my frame, so I just used my scissors to trim that down a little bit, and then I got everything back in perfect position. So there you can see the clouds attached to the frame, and now we're going to attach the frame to our stamped and inked panel. So I'm just going to run a little bead of liquid glue on each side, and what I found is the easiest way to line up my frame and my panel is to put both long sides on a hard surface and line up one side, and then I can go in and once I get that one attached well, I can go in and attach the other side. I'm going to apply a little bit of weight to this to make sure that the adhesive adheres well with the acrylic block. And there we have it. Our pop-up frame is attached to our card. So now I'm gluing down those tiny black birds that I talked about earlier using some of this Barely Arts glue. I really like this adhesive. And I'm using I think this is a jewel picker to pick up all the little tiny birds because they are tiny. I could never do that with my fingers. You need something else to help you with those little bitty tiny things. So our outside panel is complete. Now it's time to attach it to the card base. For my card base, I am using Accent Opaque 130-pound cardstock. This is a great cardstock that is heavy enough to support the weight that the pop-up frame is adding to the card. So once I've done that using my ATG gun, then my card is complete. The depth and dimension that this using this pop-up frame can give a card is very pleasing. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. I also hope that you join and subscribe to my Delta Crafter YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook under the handle The Delta Crafter. I also have a blog, The Delta Crafter, and I'll make sure to link all of these things below. If you decide to make a pop-up frame card, please tag me on social media because I would love to see how your cards turn out. Until next time, everyone, enjoy!